So here we are, we have two locals in this beautiful linden tree picking up the flowers for tea. This is about as natural as it gets in Croatia. Amazing. And then over here, one of the great secrets of Croatia, which we'll be looking to uncover in the next 48 hours. The cradle of tourism in Croatia is the Opatija Riviera. The first ever recorded tourism was in Opatija in 1844, 181 years ago. But tourism here is not just Opatija, it's the area around it, the villages, the settlements, and the Opatija Riviera is geographically in Istria, but administratively not. So it's not part of the Istria tourism, it's sandwiched in between. And it has the longest Longamari in Croatia, 10 to 12 kilometers, which we'll be walking. And here we are in the idyllic village of Moscenica, which I've only heard about for the first time this morning. And I'm totally in love with this place. It's absolutely sensational. And down here, you can see now all the way along, we're going to be going all the way around into Opatija, and then it goes out towards Rijeka. But this is a really idyllic place of beaches, of culture, of gastronomy. Kvarner next year will be the European Centre of Gastronomy for the region, and personalities, things to see, great beaches, health tourism. This is a fantastic part of Croatia. Let's go and see what we've got. The first coastal settlement on the western side of the Opatija Riviera is Moscenicka Draga, which is a very sleepy place, full of beautiful beaches, very relaxed, and not a place you would happen across by accident, but once you get here, it has a very chilled vibe. And if you're looking for somewhere to get away from the crowds and just be by the beach and just relax, cafe lifestyle, this is the place to come. What I love about Croatia is every single village seems to have its own festival and traditions, and if you don't have a lot, you can create stuff. So all you need to create 2 festivals in Moscenica is some paper and some eggs. Easter in the village, outside the church behind, they put a boiled egg up against a wall, and from a distance of 2.8 meters, you have to throw a coin, like a €1 coin, at the egg, and whoever gets the egg lodged inside the boiled egg is the winner. And if more than one person does it, then they have a tie break and so on. And with the paper, they have a paper aeroplane competition whereby you create your own paper aeroplane and you stand here on the ridge at the terrace here and you throw it and you try and land it on the beach. But what a delightful place, completely off the beaten track. And this is where Kvarner meets Istria. Beautiful. Never heard of it until this morning. Amazing. 23 years in this amazing country and still so much to discover. When thinking about the Opatija Riviera, I really wasn't thinking of anything inland, but you come up to the little village of Buris. It's on the westernmost side, and what an absolute place that is just lost in time. It's colourful, it's aromatic. The only sound we've heard since we've been here has been birdsong, and probably one of the most relaxing places I've come to in Croatia. Built on a cliff top, and that's the view behind. But walk around the village itself, it's absolutely idyllic. And very close to here, if you want to base yourself here, it's totally away from the rest of the world. And they have some of the best beaches on the Opatija Riviera just down below. So you can combine your beach holiday with having a really truly authentic experience up in a wonderful village in the hills. And after the exquisite hilltop villages, the coast, the beach, and this is an extra special beach. This has gone down in mythology. Legend has it that Medvea, who was the granddaughter of Jason of the Argonauts and the sun god Helios, came here in these pristine waters and bathed here, and the reputation of this beach went all over the Hellenic world. And then finally there was a settlement was made here, and that's called Medvea, which today is a very, very popular place for beaches. There's a great campsite. But also one of the strengths of the Opatija Riviera, if you look over here, is you go up and there you see the peak of Mount Uchka. So you have Uchka Nature Park right behind it. So for cycling, for hiking, this is a fantastic place to go. And right at the top there, there's a very interesting hotel called Draga di Lovran, in a place called Lanska Draga. And we're going to go up there, and the views from up there are absolutely sensational. The Opatija Riviera is pretty bloody good. And so from the beach to the next surprise on this really diverse Riviera, Lovran, which I first came to last year, and I was absolutely stunned as I went through these gates here to find this beautifully, beautifully preserved old stone town with very, very tiny streets, a really nice sort of cozy sort of intimate feel. And I particularly like the way they serve rakia in Lovran. As you see here, this wonderful old lady as she lets the rakia come down. Behind us we have the harbour, which dates back to medieval times. There's a very, very strong boat building tradition in Lovran, wooden boats. And today, actually, if you go to the tourist board, you can still see one of the old boats as they were made. But it's a very, very strong tradition. And so you have the sea, the old town culture. It's a delicious, delicious mix.
It's like our brand because it's normally in medieval times they put this on the portal of the doors because they believe that this is protection from evil and evil spirits and so on, diseases, and something like this you cannot see in other medieval towns. So this is like a monumental.
And who is it?
This is Mustachon.
Mustachon.
Mustache.
Mustache,
okay.
It may be a very small old town, but it's packed with things to see and do. And here we are inside the Lovran tourist board, and you see this replica boat here that's been laid out that gives you a real idea of the very, very important maritime history. But then next to it is the city tower. You walk through, and they've completely renovated this area, and they're celebrating the maritime history of this town. And in particular, they're very proud of this expedition to the Arctic back in 1872. There were 24 sailors, 12 of whom were Croatian, 3 of whom were from the Opatija Riviera, including one from Lovran who was living 2 doors away from here. And you can see over here a replica of the boat that took them on that journey. And after a little while on the coast, it was time to go, as you do on the Opatija Riviera, back into the hills again and into the Uchka Nature Park. And you can see the top of the peak of the mountain here behind us. And we found this delightful, delightful village called Lanska Draga, which is pretty much at the end of the road, nestled into the hills. And then just before it, there was this absolutely divine hotel restaurant called Draga di Lovran. Totally set in isolation. It has been abandoned from 1923 to 2004, so for over 80 years abandoned, and then has been lovingly restored and turned into a really quite exceptional restaurant. And the views, as you can see over here, I mean, that is a bonanza. That's just everything totally calm and just a fantastic view. The food, fantastic. Although it's in the hills, they come from a fisherman family, so they have all their seafood brought direct from the sea, from the fishermen, straight up to the table. And we've had a sensational lunch. And again, it's just nature. It's away from people. That's one of the things I like about here. We haven't seen that many people, and just surrounded by nature, birdsong, and exceptional views. It's a really, really special part of Croatia. And then back down to the coast for the jewel in the crown of the Opatija Riviera, at least in my opinion, the Longamari. 10 kilometers of coastal pedestrian magic. But finished in 1911, this is a wonderful, wonderful pedestrian zone right on the water, going all the way through Opatija, all the way down to Volosko on the other side. You see so many different communities, you see so many different types of life here, hidden beaches, places to eat, cafes, places for lovers to come, everything. A load of nature, it's magic, and you just walk, it's healthy. This is one of the healthiest climates in Europe. We've had medical tourism here for over 140 years, and it's not hard to see why. I mean, look at the views out there, look at this, just 9.8 kilometers to go. One of the things I really like about walking along the Longamari is you obviously have fantastic views, but you're also going through different communities. Now we've been going now 3.5 kilometers since we started in Lovran. It's time for a bit of liquid refreshment, and we're in Icici, which is one of the little towns on the way. And this is a very, very nice sort of coastal community, which was actually founded over 900 years ago as a port, as a little fishing port for Veprinac, which is a village right up in the hills there. And slowly over time, it's become developing as a tourist destination. It's best known probably so far for its ACI marina, and so just over here you have a marina which has 292 berths, as well as 35 berths for dry dock, and it's the biggest marina here on the Riviera. It also has this fantastic pebble beach here, one of the nicest family beaches around, and behind there's also the old port, which was built by locals and it has a very, very local vibe. We're going to walk there in a minute. And Icici, as a tourist destination, is about to change and really go upscale. One of the biggest and most significant investments in Croatian tourism is currently being built in Icici, and that is the first ever Marriott spa resorts for Croatia. And it's due to open in 2026. And this will be the first flagship Marriott hotel in Croatia and one of the most important luxury hotels to come to the country. And this then will be open all year round, and this is right in the center of Icici. But the thing I'm really excited to see, I only heard about this today, is there's a 2-star campsite in the woods. You can't really see it from here, 2-minute walk from the beach. And apparently it's a throwback in time, and it's surrounded by nature and animals, and apparently you can quite often see deer roaming around. So let's see what we can find. We're still in Icici. We're 2 minutes away from the waterfront, but what a difference. It's a bit like being in Zagreb and going hiking on Medvea, so it's out in nature, trees, just breathing everything. And here is a really quite special campsite. Camping in Croatia has a very long tradition, and over the last few years, things have been going up to 4-star, 5-star luxury camping. And here we have a 2-star camping destination that the guests that come don't want it to change. They don't want to upgrade. They just love the things the way they are. And it's got enough space for 400 berths, can sleep 1,200 people. The deer that we were been promised are apparently sleeping, but they're going to come back later. But it's got a really sort of local, laid-back 1960s, 1970s feel really to me. And it was opened in the 1960s, and I just think the vibe here is fantastic, and it's so far detached from anything down there, and yet it's walkable. And it's also a big film star location, of course, because Eddie Redmayne, when he was shooting the Shakal film, was obviously here, of course, because he heard about the best 2-star campsite in Croatia. So you have the ACI Marina for tourists with the 292 berths, and then we've just come down the steps and we've gone under a bridge and round, and it's where the locals keep their stuff. It's a little old little harbour, and it's so non-touristy. It's fantastic. And it's where all the locals keep their boats. And there's a fisherman's club and a restaurant. And I think it would be a good time to say goodbye to Icici over a beer here, just to get the local vibe. So let's go this way. And as we come to the end of the first day on the Opatija Riviera, we've been up in the mountains, we've been on the beach, We've been looking at deer, we've been seeing incredible things, and we come back to where tourism in Croatia began in 1844. Opatija, Villa Angiolina, and Angiolina Park. This place is an absolute treasure all these years later. Just take in the aromas, take in the beauty, the nature, and down here is the first ever villa that was rented in tourism in Croatia. And from here, tourism has expanded. We go down to the Longamari. You have 10 kilometers of magic. But really, for me, this is one of the great places in Croatian tourism. And 181 years later, still fantastic. Walking along that Longamari, really, it was just such a refreshing, healthy thing. And this is a region which has had health tourism for over 140 years. Opatija itself is very different from most coastal towns in Croatia because, number one, it's open all year, 12 months a year, there's things happening. And also it has a very sort of Austro-Hungarian vibe with all these amazing villas. It looks very different to the stone towns of Croatia you'll find on the coast elsewhere. In terms of things going on, I mean, although it's a small town, it's probably got the second best Advent in the whole of Croatia. Advent in Opatija has been extremely well received in the last couple of years. Other notable festivals, there's a really cool one called Opatija, which takes place in June, and this is 3 or 4 days of revelry going back to the 1970s, 1980s. They had over 40,000 people last year. It was fantastic. And they have a very famous chocolate festival as well. But in terms of tourism, you know, health tourism is a very important thing here for Opatija, but also business tourism and conference tourism. And so they have a lot of good-sized 4- or 5-star hotels, but they also have very good conference facilities. And people are choosing Opatija because it's the location to places like Germany and Austria and Italy, but also for the magic and its beauty, which is something you get in addition to the actual conference services itself. We came in and we decided to try and meet some of the local expats and local people, so we hosted a drinks evening in what is probably the premier address, I would say, in Opatija, on the rooftop of the Kate Hotel Hilton by Curio. This is a hotel that opened last summer and right in the heart of Opatija, and it's quickly become like one of the best addresses to go, and we had a fantastic night. Over 40 expats and locals came. So what I'd say about Opatija really is a little bit of a higher class destination than elsewhere. It has a very good gourmet selection. The flora and fauna around it, it's just full of parks. It's full of, I don't think I know a town in Croatia where they pay so much attention to their greenery. And when you go into Angiolina Park, which is where tourism started, you'll see there is just such a wonderful range of different types of plants and trees and so on. And you just walk in there, you just feel healthier. One of the strengths I've realised about the Opatija Riviera is there is so much inland which is very accessible to the sea. So you can have the whole coastal experience, but as soon as you go 5 minutes inland, you're going to find lots of different treasures and different things. And today we're in Matulji, which is the next step of our trip, and we're at Vineria Kapic. Kapic means droplet in Croatian, and it's a really cool place. It's like being in somebody's home, but also in a winery, and it's kind of the guy's got a very interesting story how he used to work for Matulji in Istria, and then he's decided to do his own wine. There are 5 different indigenous grape varieties to this region here, including this one, which is Kasztowska Belica. And so Croatia has 130 indigenous varieties, and this is another one I've never heard of until today. And in fact, Tommy, he's one of only 2 producers in the whole world of this thing. So let's give it a try. Yeah, very light and fresh, nice.
So my name is Toni Babic, the owner of the Kapic winery in Matulji. Behind me you can see the parts of our zvončari, the bell ringers tradition wearing. On the one side you see the mask of the halubajski zvončar, the halubaj bell ringers, and on the other side is the part of the Matulji's bell ringers. We have several different groups. The bell ringing, it's part of the carnival, part of our tradition that happens in the winter time, and the carnival starts with this Antonski rog that we are horning it at 17th of January. Now is the summertime, this will be pretty heretically to do, but you can hear it. Živio pust.
For many people over the years, the entrance point to the Opatija Riviera has been this train station behind at Matulji, which is just inside the Riviera up in the hills. It's a delightful little place, and the train still runs today, and indeed you can get trains in the season from Vienna and Prague directly into here. I was a little bit skeptical about Matulji because it's not on the coast and I hadn't heard of it before, but what an absolute gastronomic gem. If we talk about the wine, here you have in this region 5 indigenous grape varieties, and we had a wonderful, wonderful time with Tony at Vineria Capic. And then we went to the village of Zvonica, to this absolutely superbly beautiful little conover, totally random. And inside we found a grape variety called Jarbona, and the only wine producer in the whole world that makes Jarbona. But not only that, makes us a sparkling wine as well. And it was really, really fantastic. And I got a bottle, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with my sommelier friend. I really like the way they're promoting their gourmet story in Matulji with this very cool Matulicious brand, where lots of participating wineries and restaurants are taking part, but also the way that they're promoting the active tourism and the wine tourism with things like bike and taste, and also the hike and bike just underneath the Mount Uczka. There's a lot of really good active tourism there to be had, and cycling to these different wineries and trying the various different foods is a really, really fun day out. Then we just had lunch, and we went to Villa Plaza, which is known very much in the region for its gastronomic specialities. Superb service, superb food, and it really felt to me like this is a place that you come away from the coast, you come up, this is real life, authentic, it's small families doing amazing things, and it was off the radar for me completely, but I thought Matulji was one of the highlights of this trip. And then we went for lunch at Stancia Kovačić, which was, I mean, just superb. The food in this region is amazing, and there is a reason why Kvarner region next year will be the European Centre for Gastronomy. And so at the end of a really fantastic coastal walk along the Longamari, we come to the end of this fantastic creation, which was created in 1911, and we find ourselves in the beautiful, beautiful little fishing village of Volosko. And if we just go around here, you'll see just an idyllic little harbour surrounded by local fishing boats, local restaurants. It feels like Croatia as it once was, and in amongst all this is one of the best restaurants I've ever been to in Croatia during my time here, and it's called Plavi Podrum. It means like a blue basement over there in the corner. But just look at this. This is Croatia as it once was. What a fantastic end to what a fantastic project the 48 hours on the Opatija Riviera is. If you haven't been, come. I hope you've learned something from this video. I certainly have. It's an amazing, amazing region, and I encourage you to visit.